Welcome to the tutorial on how to use the cosine and sine ratios when we're given an angle but missing a side length. So what happens if we're asked to determine the length of DE in this first triangle of EFD? Well, we're given angle E equals 55 degrees. We're also given the opposite side length of FD. I can't spell F, so let's fix that. FD, which is equal to 6.8 centimeters. Do I have a trigonometric ratio that uses opposite and hypotenuse? Because this is what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find the hypotenuse. And yes, I do. Opposite over hypotenuse is the sine ratio. So the sine of angle E equals opposite over hypotenuse. And again, I know that it's sine 55 degrees because I've been given that for angle E. And I know that my opposite, which is 6.8 centimeters, and my hypotenuse is, I'm going to label it ED or DE. So how do I deal with this? I know that DE times sine of 55 degrees equals 6.8. How do I know that? I multiply both sides by DE. And I know that that can cancel out. So then DE sine 55 equals 6.8. And in order to isolate DE, now I need to divide both sides by sine 55. So there's my 6.8 divided by sine 55. And of course, sine 55 divided by sine 55, that's the same as saying 1. So DE length is going to be determined by 6.8 divided by sine 55. So you're going to go ahead in your calculator and actually put in 6.8 divided by sine 55. And then you'll come up with DE equals 8.3 centimeters. That's the hypotenuse. Let's take another example here. I have 50 degrees, and I've been given 5.2. Now, if we look at it, the 5.2 is in the hypotenuse section. So which one do I want to use? I'm going to show it using the cosine ratio, only because we've already done one showing the sine ratio. So I'm going to use this one. And I know that my cosine ratio, I need to find length km. This is the one I'm missing. So I know the length of km is 5.2 centimeters. And I also know that angle K equals 50 degrees. I also know that the cosine of K equals adjacent divided by hypotenuse. So cos of 50, it's my 50 degrees, equals adjacent, which I know is kn, because that's the unknown, but my hypotenuse I do know, which is 5.2 centimeters. So how am I going to deal with this? I'm going to multiply both sides by 5.2. So there's 5.2 times cos 50 equals kn divided by 5.2 times 5.2. In this way, of course, I can cancel out my 5.2s because they divide into each other. So that leaves me with 5.2 cos 50 equals kn. And I can punch in 5.2 cos 50 into my calculator. And kn equals 3.34 centimeters. Now, 5.2 is to the nearest tenth, so I'm going to round to 3.3 centimeters. And that's my answer for the length of kn.